Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley and this is another bookish video. Hello friends, so it is nearing the end of October, so that means it is already time to do a November TBR. I can't believe that November is already here. This year has flown by. I know everybody says that, but I feel like this year has gone by like so fast. And so typically I would be doing my owl choose your TBR since it is November or going to be November. But I'm gonna do things differently for the last 2 months. So this isn't just a November TBR, this is my end of the year TBR, pretty much. Because I have a little like plan I want to do, because I am turning 30 in December, December 27th to be exact. And at the beginning of this year, I made a TikTok video where I said, these are like the 30 books I want to read before I turn 30. And I have finished one of them and started one, and then I DNF'd, like, or not DNF'd, but I unhauled a couple of them as well, because I was trying to like lessen the books on my shelf, and those ones, like, I wasn't interested in them anymore. So yeah, I unhauled them, so I can't really read them, but I still have a whole bunch of books that I planned to read this year but didn't. And then there are some on that list that I just have no plans on reading anytime soon because I'm just not in like the right headspace for it. So yeah, I'm gonna go through all the books that I had on that list, and the ones that I I have read, because I have only read one of them, and then I have started one of them, but I just have to finish it. So that's not going to be part of this challenge that I'm going for. So yeah, basically I'm going to do a challenge where starting at the end of this month, the 27th, I'm going to start, or actually, technically, I want to give the 2 months till my birthday. It's December 27th. And this should be going up on October 27th, so 2 months exactly until my actual birthday. But I won't be starting this challenge until November 1st. So I have a little under 2 months to complete these books. But yeah, there's 30 books. I want to do 30 before I'm 30. We will see if I can do that. And then I have the idea that I will wrap them in this and then like put numbers on the spine and then like use a number generator to choose the book that I read. So yeah, that way I'm not like struggling on which one to pick up next. So yeah, this will help. I plan on wrapping them because I mean, it's like a countdown basically until my birthday. And I just thought it was a fun idea to get down these books that are on my TBR. I have reselected books that, ones that I like am not interested in or that I did unhaul. I replaced them with other books. And I tried to replace it with books that have been on my TBR for a very long time. So yeah, a lot of these books that I'm going to show you are books that I've had for a really long time. So you're not really going to see a lot of like new releases in this TBR, because yeah, a lot of these books I've just had on my physical TBR for a really long time, and I want to try to get to them by the end of this year. So let's go ahead and I will go over all the books that I had in that first video, and then if I am not planning on reading it, I'll show you what I've replaced it with. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the books. Okay, so the first book I actually had in that like original video was Pride and Prejudice, but I don't know why I added that book to that list, because I remember reading that in like high school, I think. But yeah, I have already read that, so that one doesn't count. The second book I had on there was Little Women, which I have not read yet. I've had this on my TBR for a really long time, and I think this will be perfect to read like in this like time of year, like November and December. So yeah, I love this edition of it, and yeah, I'm excited to get to this like towards the end of the year. The third book that I had in that original video was Dracula, and I forgot I had added it in that video for my 30 before I turned 30, because otherwise I would have added that to my October TBR, but no, I did not get to Dracula in October, and I do not plan on reading it because I'm kind of a mood reader, and I would not be in the mood to read that, and I would end up DNFing it if I like ended up having to read that one. So yeah, I won't be reading Dracula. But the fourth book I had in that video was The House of the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I've been saying I was gonna read this like for several months this year, and I just never got to it. Everybody I know like that have read this loves this. So I don't know why I keep putting it off, and I know it'll be like a fun, like cute, like fast read. So I don't know why I have not read this yet. Because yeah, if you don't already know, it follows Linus, and he goes to this like, I think it's like a school or something, and it has like these like magical children or something, like they have magical abilities, I think. And then he goes there and helps. That's all I pretty much know. But yeah, I am very excited to be reading this. So the fifth book I had in the video is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Again, this one has been on my TBR for so long, and I know this was very hyped on Book Talk for a while. I had this before it like blew up on like TikTok. Like I've been wanting to read this for so long. It obviously follows Achilles. It's like Greek mythology, which I'm very interested in reading like in my books. But yeah, I keep putting it off because I'm very intimidated by it. I don't know it and I heard that it makes people cry. So yeah, I'm very nervous to read this, but I'm excited to add it to this TBR. Sixth book in that like video, but the fourth book I have like on my 30 in before I'm 30 list is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is a long book, so hopefully I can finish it. It is over 500 pages. But I have heard nothing but good things about this. I know this is another emotional read, and I've been very intimidated by it. This would be my first Kristen Hanna book, if I get to it. But yeah, it takes place. It's a historical fiction taking place around World War II. So yeah, I have been really looking forward to reading this. So yeah, another one I'm excited to get to. The next book that was in that video is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I think this is it's like a romance that's like, it's like dark academia, I think. And it's a romance between a witch and a vampire. But yeah, I think it's like a dark academia story. And I know this one is pretty long too. But I've been wanting to read this for a while now too, especially with like the TV series that came out a few years ago. Yeah, so, and I feel like I would love it because, I mean, it's witches and vampires. I should have added it to, like, this would be perfect for, like, an October read, but I feel like it's still perfect for, like, the fall time, so hopefully I am able to read this in November, because I will still probably be in the mood to read something like this in November. So yeah, I am excited to add this. So the next book I had on that list is a very, like, I think controversial one, because of, like, the subject matter in this book and, like, what, like, the characters. I think, like, it's, like, a very, like, large, like, age gap, I think, like, love story. And I think there's a lot of, like stuff, like, I think it has to, like, there's, like, grooming and stuff, I think, in this. So yeah, it's very, like, controversial, and, like, it's definitely, like, you either hate this book or you love it. And I know you're not, like, you don't really want to root for the love story in this book, because of the age gap and, like, everything that's going on. But I have, like, a lot of people have given this one 5 stars, and I've had this on my TBR for a really long time. But yeah, I know this will probably be a tough one to read. It may be a tough one to read. But yeah, I've heard, like, it's, like, good. I think it's good writing. But yeah, I am excited to add this to my TBR. Hopefully I do enjoy it despite, like, the subject matter. But yeah, this is another one, like, I've had it for a really long time, so I want to get to it. But I will allow myself to DNF if I feel like it's too much. The next book I had in the video, but I won't be adding to this list anymore, is not gonna, like, it won't be finished before I'm 30. And that is Interview with the Vampire. This is another one where I forgot I added it to my list. Otherwise, I would have added it to my October TBR. And I know there is, of course, like, a few days left of October, and I could easily, like, read it, but I have other books I need to finish before the end of the month, so I won't be getting to this one, unfortunately. The next book I had in the video was If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This is a, like, dark academia book, and I have had this on, like, several TBRs, especially ones I said I was going to read this last year in, like, November, I think, and I never got to it. But I've heard good things about it, and this is another one that was hyped on, Book Talk for a while there, too. So yeah, I think it's, like, it has actors, and it's, like, a dark academia. That's all I really know about it. But yeah, I've been wanting to read this for a while, so I am excited to add this to my TBR. The next book I had on my, like, the video I made was Where the Crawdads Sing, and I actually have unhauled that book, because I was not interested in it at all, and I felt like it was overhyped, and I've heard some, like, controversy with, like, the author and stuff, and I have heard, like, mixed reviews. Like, some people have said it's, like, boring, and I think got spoiled on, like, the plot twist. So yeah, I ended up unhauling that book, unfortunately, so that will not be read. And next book after that I had on my video was A Little Life. I have it here, actually. If you don't know, it's A Little Life by Hanya Yanagara. I'm sorry if I butchered that. I just have heard that this has very tough, like, subject matter in it, and I heard it will like break you, and like it's very an emotional, tough read, and I just am not in the like right mental headspace to read something like this right now. And it's also very like long, like, so yeah, I definitely don't think I will be getting to this anytime soon, unfortunately. So I have actually thought about like unhauling it a few times, but I also am like very curious about it as well. But yeah, it just is not gonna happen anytime soon. Next book I have on my list is Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. I have had this on my TBR since it came out. And I think it came out in 2020. Or 2019. So yeah, I've had this on my TBR for a really long time. But yeah, I need to get to it. This is, I think, about, yeah, Alex Chamberlain. She is a woman that is like a babysitter for this white family, and she gets approached, like she takes their kid to the grocery store, and she is approached, and she gets accused of kidnapping their child because of her skin color. So yeah, that is the basic premise of it. I've heard really good things about it, and I think this is a very important read, and I've been wanting to get to it, but I just haven't yet. I don't know why I keep pushing it off, but I will. Like, it's getting on my 30 before 30 list, so I will get to this one. And yeah, I hope I end up enjoying this one. Next book I had on the video I made was The Bronze Horseman, and that's another one where I have unhauled it because I just was not interested in it. I read some reviews on Goodreads and heard that like the love story is a very like toxic one. And yeah, I just realized like I do not want to read about that. So yeah, I unhauled it. The next book I had in that video was City of Bones, and I will not be adding to it. I do want to read that one, but I won't be adding it to my 30 before 30 because I have plans to read it next year. I think I plan on trying to read like a book from that series a month. I don't know why I still haven't gotten to that series yet. I hope I like it at like this age. I know it came out like when I was like in high school, junior high or high school. So hopefully I still enjoy it. I know there's some like controversial like stuff with that series, like, and some people love it, some people hate it. But I am still very curious, and I own the City of Bones series, and then I also own the Infernal Devices, and then I also own the other trilogy, not like the newest one in that series, but the one that comes after Infernal Devices. I can't remember the exact name of that one, but I own a lot of that like world, like those books. And yeah, I plan on trying to read them next year, at least a book a month of that series. The next book in that video was Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is book one of the Farseer trilogy. I've heard nothing but good things about this like series and this author. I know it's like interconnected like series, like the Farseer trilogy is like the first trilogy, and then it continues on like in other like trilogies and series. So yeah, this is the first book, and I've been wanting to read this for a really long time. So yeah, I am excited to be adding this to my TBR. Next book I had in that that I added to that video was the 5th season, which I did read. It was actually the first book I finished in October. So yeah, that's the first and only book I have finished from that video. So yay. So yeah, I obviously will not be adding it to like this TBR. But yeah, I have finished that book, one book. The next book in that video that I said I would read is The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. I also have had this book on my TBR for a very long time. I should stop repeating that because have said that like for every book. I've obviously have had all these books for a very long time, and that is why I want to get to them. But yeah, this is a like a fantasy. I don't know. I think there might be a little bit of romance in this. But yeah, it's about Princess Calcia Rayleigh Glynn, and she's approaching her 19th birthday, and she has to like ascend to her rightful place as the new queen of the Tearling. But I think she ends up like running away or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, there is definitely like conflict in there, and like things happen while she's trying to become this like ascend into this queen. But yeah, I've heard some mixed reviews on this, so that's why I think I have been like pushing it off. And I think I did try reading this a few years ago and then ended up putting it down. But it also has like really tiny writing, so I think that is why I like put it down, because I was like, I can't read that like at this time, at that time. Like I was like, but I have been putting it off for far too long, so I'm excited to be adding it to this TBR. Next book I have from that video is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I actually had started this. I was like 67 pages into it, and I put it down for like, I have no idea why I put it down. I ended up putting it down, I think because I was getting into a reading slump, and I just never picked it back up because I was enjoying it. I got like, but I probably will end up restarting it because I don't really remember exactly, like I kind of remember some stuff, but I don't remember everything, so I probably will end up starting it, and I was only 66 pages in, so that's not too bad to like restart it. But yeah, this, I think it follows Rin, and I think she like gets accepted to this like war college, and then like the story goes from there. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about this book, and I've been excited to read this. Hopefully when I pick it back up, I will actually finish it. Because yeah, I read Yellowface by this author this year and ended up loving that one. I know that book was very different from like a fantasy, but I'm still very excited to read another one of her books. Next book I have is a book that I have been saying I was going to read in several TBRs this year, but have not gotten to it yet. And that is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I have a Brandon Sanderson because I do want to read one of his books before my birthday, before the end of the year. This is pretty much like an end of the year TBR, like books I want to read before 2024, because my birthday is at like the very end of December. So yeah, it's basically end of year TBR, 30 before 30, and like books I want to read before the end of the, like, yeah. But yeah, Mistborn. I've had it on my TBR for so long, and I keep saying I'm gonna get to it, but never do. Heard nothing but good things about it. So yeah, I just really need to get to it. I know it's very long. So it's like over 600 pages, but I do have the audiobook for this, which I might use to motivate me to read it, and hopefully I can get through it faster. 2 books I had on that video was The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. And those I will not be getting to it because I am just not in the mood to read those. Like, it's a fantasy, like, classic, like, it's old, like, it came out. So, and like, I honestly don't know if I will like them. I know they're like I said, a like classic in the fantasy genre. But yeah, I just don't know if I'm going to be in the mood to read them at the end of the year. I will definitely be trying to get to them next year though, because I know it's like a staple for like the fantasy genre. So yeah, I won't be reading those this year, but definitely will try to read them next year. The next book I have from that video is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is part of the, what trilogy is this called? I can't remember what the trilogy is called. But yeah, it is part of a trilogy. I've heard nothing but good things about this trilogy. Like, I've heard like really amazing reviews on this. I'm not sure exactly what it is about. But it is a fantasy that, yeah, I've been very excited to get to. I own all 3 of the books in this trilogy, so yeah. This is another really long book. I mean, yeah, it's over 500 pages. So again, hopefully I can get to it before my birthday, but I'm excited to be adding this to the TBR. Next book I had from that video is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This hasn't been on my TBR as long as like the other ones have been, but I still have had this on my TBR for a while. So yeah, I don't really know exactly what it's about, but I know this is like, it says it was an instant classic when it came out, and it also is, there is a Starz original series, so yeah. And when this was like the 10th anniversary edition that I got. But yeah, I have no idea what it is about. But yeah, I know Neil Gaiman is a very like beloved author, I think. And yeah, I've just heard good things about this book, so I've been wanting to read it. Next book I had in that video was The Martian by Andy Weir. I've had this on my TBR since the movie came out, like the year the movie came out, and that was like a few years ago, because I have seen the movie for this. I just have not read the book, and I heard the book is like hilarious, like so much like better than the movie. I mean, the movie was good. Like I enjoyed watching the movie, but I heard like you get like so much more reading the book. So I've been wanting to read the book. But yeah, this is basically about this guy that gets like trapped on Mars, and like he starts like a whole like habitat on like Mars until he gets like, or yeah, like until he can possibly get rescued. So yeah, I am excited to read this because I did like the movie. So the next book is finally not another fantasy or like sci-fi, but it is like a thriller, and that is They Never Learned by Lane Fargo. This is a like, it takes place at a college, and it's a professor that like murders guys that like essay other women. So yeah, it sounds like it'll be a great read, and I've heard like nothing but good things about this book. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this. I know this would have also been another like perfect read to read in October, but it wasn't in my, like, the plans for that. But hopefully this is another one where I end up getting to read in November while I'm still in the mood for these types of books. The next book I have is Plain Bad Heroine. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I cannot talk right now. By Emily M. Danforth. This I think is a like horror comedy. Yeah, it's a horror comedy centered around a cursed New England boarding school for girls. So yeah, there is a sapphic love story in it, I think. But yeah, it says it begins in 1902 at the Brookhant School for Girls. I've heard nothing but good things about this book as well. And I know this has I'm pretty sure this has illustrate. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a spoiler, but it has illustrations in it. That is pretty cool. So yeah. And I also love this cover. I know there's another cover that I think it's bright yellow or pink, and I also love that cover as well. But yeah, I'm excited to get to this. This is another huge book, so hopefully I can get to this in time. So I'm just gonna do the last two I had in the video together, and that is Outlander and Dark Lover. They're both the mass paperbacks. But yeah, I've been wanting to read both of these for a while. I actually own pretty much all of the books in this series, and I still have not read the first book. Same with this. I own all the books in this series and haven't gotten to it. But I did start this one, it looks like. Got to chapter 2, put it down, and never finished it. But yeah, I will be getting to these in the next 2 months, hopefully. It will be definitely obvious when I unwrap these, because they are the only two mass market paperbacks I have on this list. But yeah, these two books are on my list on my TBR. And those are the last two that I will be reading from that video. And then the last book I had in that video was also Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas, which I have started but have not finished. I'm over 200 pages into it. So I will be finishing it before the end of the year, but I just didn't want to add it in my 30, because I obviously am not gonna wrap that book since I have already started reading it. So yeah, let's go ahead and go over the books that I will be the books that will be replacing the ones that I will not be reading. So I think, let me count how many books here, and then I'll tell you how many books that I have that will replace the other books that I said I wasn't gonna read, or I finished the one book, or have unhauled. So I have 18 books from that original video that I will be planning to read. Those are 18 books total. And then, so that means I have to add 12. I added 12 more books to the list that are replacing the ones that I have finished. So yeah, I have 11 books here that will be replacing the ones. The first book I have is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is another book where I got 170 pages into it and ended up putting it down. I was debating on if I was just gonna unhaul this, completely DNF it, or just keep it as a soft DNF. And I think I will keep it at I will try to read it again. And I feel like this is a great read to like read at this time of year. I've heard some people say like it's good to read at this time of year. So yeah, I probably will end up restarting it even though I got 170 pages in. But I started this book like back in 2019, I think. And haven't picked it back up since. So yeah, I definitely will be restarting this and adding it to the list. The next book I have is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys, I think. I'm sorry if I butchered that last name. This is a young adult, like, historical fiction, and I've been wanting to read a book by this author for a really long time because I've heard nothing but good things about it. I am kind of like heading out of like reading young adult, but I still do read some young adult books. And yeah, this one sounds like it'll be like a really like powerful, good story. So yeah, and this one has been on my TBR for a long time. I actually still have the Barnes & Noble receipt from when I got it. And the date on here says May of 2019. So if that says anything about how long this has been on my TBR, that's like a dead giveaway. So yeah, I definitely will be trying to get to this, before my birthday. The next book I have is another one that has been on several TBRs this year, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six. I think I like have repeated myself several times that I was gonna read this book. This was in my 5-star prediction video as well. But I still have not read it yet, and I have the audiobook for this, so this will definitely be a quick read when I do get to it. Yeah, so when I draw that number and get this book, it's being read. Like, I'm putting everything down and just reading it. The next book I have is Things You Save in the Fire by Catherine Center. This has been on my TBR for a really long time. I think I picked this book out, like this was one of my very first book of the month books. So yeah, I will be adding this. I've heard really good things about this author, especially with her like 2 like newest releases. But yeah, I also have heard good things about this one as well. So I'm excited to read this. I think, yeah, this takes place, it follows a firefighter, and I think she falls in love with another firefighter. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I am excited to read this. Oh, look, another book that I've had on several TBRs this year and still have not finished. And that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. It's another, I did start this book. I got 39 pages into it. I just have not finished it yet. There was a few times this year that I was in a reading slump, so I picked books up and then just put them down and never picked it up, and I just picked up other books that I wanted to read. I have read a lot of romance books because those are the books that were getting me out of reading slumps. So and I just enjoy romance books, so they're good ones to keep you out of a reading slump. But I am excited to read this. And this is another one where if I get this like number and I unwrap this book, I am putting everything down and reading it. Next book I have on this list is one that I've also had on my TBR for a very long time. And that is Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. And yes, I have had this on my TBR for even longer than when TikTok was hyping it up. I think I got this when it, around when it first released. And that was in I got it like a few years after it was released, because it says it was released in 2011. And I think I got this in like 2015-ish. It's been a while. I've had this on my TBR for a really long time, and I think I will add it, especially since, there is like new hype around it, so I think it's a perfect time to read this and see if I enjoy it. I know it's YA, but I've heard really good things about this series, especially like the first like trilogy that came out, because I know like it first ended as like a trilogy, but then she like released 3 more books, and then there's like novellas as well. But yeah, I will be adding the first book to this list, and I hope I enjoy it. Another YA like dystopian book that I've had on my TBR for a really long time that I will be adding to the list is Legend by Marie Lu. I think this one came out around the same time as like Hunger Games and Divergent, and this is just one I just have never like got into and have wanted to, because yeah, it's like another dystopian. We will see if I still like dystopian when I'm reading this. I know it's like, again, like I said, I'm trying to like move out of YA, but there's a few like this one like that I've been like curious, like still curious on if I will enjoy it. But yeah, this one came out like several years ago. But yeah, when it came out, it was very like there was a lot of hype around it. And I've heard really good things about it, so I am excited to add this to my list. Next book I am adding is The Promise of Stardust by Priscilla Sibley. I think this is a romance. I am not sure exactly what it's about. I might go in blind reading this, but it's another one where I've had it on my TBR for a really long time. I think I bought this because the cover looked interesting. I don't know. It looked like a cute romance to me when I picked it up. But I think this is going to be like a more like heavier read. But we will see. I am excited to add it because I've had it on my TBR for a very long time. So the next book I have is another V.E. Schwab, and that is The Darker Shade of Magic. I added this to the list because, especially with like the latest book, like in like the I think it's a spin-off series or I'm not sure if it's I think it's like a spin-off series that takes place in the same world as this trilogy. But yeah, this is like this is, if you don't know, it follows like 4 Londons, and it's like a fantasy, and yeah, I've heard really good things about this series, so I'm excited to add it. And the last book I'm adding is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ying. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if that is not. I apologize. I have read Little Fires Everywhere by this author, and I really enjoyed that one. And I've had this one on my TBR for a long time. Like, I think I got it around the same time as when I read Little Fires Everywhere, which I read that book back in 2019. And I just, have not picked this one up yet. And I've been wanting to, and this is a short one, so it'll like be good with all these like the long books I have on that list. But yeah, I think it follows a Chinese American family that living in 1970s small town Ohio. And then it follows Lydia, and it says she's dead. But they don't know, like the family doesn't know this yet. So I think it follows like she's like Lydia's missing, and then they find her, and I think they try to discover what happened to her. I think that's a basic premise of it. But yeah, I am excited to add this because I did really enjoy Little Fires Everywhere. Okay, so that is all the books, and then I realized I like counted them all, and I realized it's only 29, which is fine because I did remember, if you remember, I did finish one book from that video. So I think that'll be okay. 29 is fine. And then I also have 2 other books I want to read. One that I have to finish in November, and the other is one I want to finish in December, or I need to finish in December. And then I also have other books on my TBR that I want to get to hopefully as well. So yeah, let's go over those. So the first book I want to show you is a buddy read with Katie Coulson and her Patreon, and that is Project Hail Mary, which is perfect because I also have like I have The Martian on my like 30 before 30 list. So it'll just hopefully it'll just be like a Andy Weir month if I end up reading that one in November as well. But yeah, this came out last year and it was on a lot of people's like best books of the year. So I'm excited to get to this, and I am so glad that Katie picked it as a buddy read for her Patreon. So yeah, if you want to read this along with Katie on her Patreon, you can join her Patreon. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm excited to get to this one. I am not sure exactly what it is about. I know it's sci-fi and it follows a astronaut. But yeah, very excited to get to this one. And then I will also go over the December pick for Katie Coulson's Patreon, and that is Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. I am sorry if I mispronounced that. Yeah, this is her December buddy read. And I think this is like a dark academia, like fantasy book, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if it's fantasy. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's like urban. If it is fantasy, it's like urban fantasy. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I am excited to try this one out in December. And this is a used copy, and I noticed, I got it from Pango Books, and I noticed that they have like underlined like things. So, and like they actually have annotated it. So, hopefully it's not too much of a distraction, or I mean, maybe it's like will be a fun thing to have, like, because I'll get to it and like see what other people have like thought is like a good quote, or like what their thoughts. So yeah, very excited to get to this one in December. All right, so those are the two buddy reads that I plan on reading at the for like the end of the year. And now I want to go over other books that I want to read. These will probably be more December reads, but I just like they're end of the year reads that I want to get to. Right, so I of course have a lot of like Christmas romances books that I want to get to in like December, maybe end of November and December. But I have 3 books, other books that I want to get to in December. Oh, this is another romance. Or 2 books. I have The Family Game by Catherine Steedman. I've been wanting to read this since last year. But I was like, I couldn't get to like some of the books last year because I was moving at that time last year. So I wanted to read this one because I'm pretty sure this takes place in during Christmas, I think, or around like Christmas time. So yeah, I want to read this one in around like November, December. And then that one, by the way, is a thriller. It takes place like around Christmas. And then I also want to try to get to this book by Sophie Lark, Anastasia. I loved the movie Anastasia, and this is kind of like a reimagining of that story, and it's a romance. And this is just a stunning stunning book. I know there's like illustrations in this book, And I've been wanting to read it since it came out last year, but wasn't able to get to it. And this is like the perfect book to read in like the wintry like time. So yeah, I definitely want to try to get to this in like end of November, December. It is a long book, so hopefully I can get to it along with like the list I have of other books. So yeah. That is all of the books that I plan on reading in the months of November and December. I'm very excited. Like, I plan on doing like little like short like TikTok videos every time I like select a book, using like I will like show on camera me unwrapping it. Like, I'll do like the YouTube shorts and like TikTok and then probably Instagram reels to show like every time I select a book from the list. So yeah, very excited for the next couple months. I definitely wanted to try to keep it more like laid back for the last couple months, but I think this will be fun, and it'll be a fun way to like lead up to my birthday. I can't believe I'm gonna be 30. But I'm excited for my 30s. Like, I feel like my 30s will be great. Like, I feel like it'll be like good. I don't know. We will see. But yeah, I am excited. But yeah, those are my end of the year plans. Please let me know what you plan on reading in like the next couple months, or what you plan on reading in November, down in the comments. Or let me know a book that you have loved this year, because I am definitely curious on what other people have loved this year. So yeah, definitely leave a comment, and please like this video, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to. And thank you so much for watching if you have gotten this far. Yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.